So
Yeah.
if you say philosophy in the Islamic world is just philosophy in, let's say, majority Muslim cultures or
Yeah.
countries or lands, then it's obviously still going on. So there's no end. And in fact, the only way there could be an end is if Islam sort of disappeared as a world religion, which clearly is not happening anytime soon. So, as
Yeah.
far as I'm concerned, this is a topic that goes right up to the 21st century. I have to say my expertise pretty much goes up to the 13th century or so. So I'm still more of a specialist on the period that might be called medieval, although I don't really like to use that word. I sometimes call that the classical period. But in any case, the beginning is harder. So if you think about this as beginning with the translation of Greek philosophy into Arabic, then it's pretty easy to say where it starts, namely in the middle of the 9th century. So
Yeah.
there's this figure al-Kindi, who I guess we'll talk about in a minute, who was involved in the translation of Aristotle, Plotinus, and other Greek philosophers into Arabic. And so if you think, well, that's just what philosophy in the Islamic world is, it's reaction to Greek philosophy, then you would date it to then. There is a more broad way of thinking about it, which I favor, which is that there's sort of two big aspects to philosophy in the Islamic world. One being what I just said, the transmission of Greek philosophy and its reception and people coming to grips with it. And then on the other hand, an indigenous tradition of theological reflection, which often involves philosophy. And you can say that that starts a little earlier, like maybe 8th century.
Okay.
So that doesn't actually make a big difference in terms of chronology, but it makes a big difference conceptually because there's this massive tradition called kalam, so, which people usually translate as theology, which
Yeah.
some people consider to be worth the study of or worth the time of historians of philosophy, and some people don't. So I am in favor of including it. So I have a more capacious understanding of what it is. So for me, basically, philosophy in the Islamic world means anything that's philosophically interesting and anything that was written in the Islamic world.
Yep.
So it's quite open to taking in lots of sort of traditions, sub-traditions, not only Muslims, Christians, Jews, you name it.